I've been married for almost 20 years. In all that time, I thought we had the perfect marriage. However, recently, I came to learn that all was not as I had imagined. Much to my shock, apparently, my wife Natalie wasn't satisfied with our love life. It was too dull for her, too vanilla, and I was too mundane, too gentle and loving. My wife, it turns out, wants to be treated roughly and desired by a tough guy. That's her word, not mine. I've heard her use it a lot over the years, always to describe other men. Not once has she ever thought of me or anything I've done as tough. Stable, loving, considerate, caring. Those are words she uses to describe me. The hot guy at the gym with the bulge in his shorts was tough. The slick-talking car salesman who kept flirting with the ladies was tough. The lead singer of a European metal band we bumped into at a bar one night was tough. Not me. I have never been rough with my wife. I make love to her. We have great intimacy, but it is loving and gentle. I always made sure she felt loved and appreciated every time we were together. I never rushed things. Intimacy is always long and filled with passion. I love her so much that after finishing, I occasionally cried as I held her close in the warm afterglow of our lovemaking. Clearly, I'm not a tough guy. Tough guys are aggressive and take what they want. If the woman gets hers in the process, that's fine. But the goal is his satisfaction. That's what a tough guy does. That's who a tough guy is. And according to the post that Natalie recently made in the Number Unfaithful Wives forum, that's what she wants. To be desired mindlessly by a tough guy. Yes, I've been spying on my wife. I'm not proud of it. But I'm not one of those guys who will just sit back while my marriage falls apart and my wife starts being intimate with other men. If she ever had relations with someone else, our marriage would be over, right that minute. So instead of ignoring the telltale signs and burying my fat head in the sand, I took action. I hacked her computer and her phone. Call me a terrible person. Call me a jerk. It doesn't bother me. I deserve it. But I believe if you value something, you fight to keep it, and I don't share well. So, for the past couple of months, I've been monitoring Natalie's emails, the websites she goes to, the chats she has, and the material she watches or reads. I've learned more about my wife and her desires in this short period of time than in the entire time we've been married. At first, I was hurt. Then I got angry. At no point did the idea of her being with someone else turn me on. I hated it. I decided that I needed a plan. Not just to save our marriage. That ship had sailed the moment she started looking elsewhere. No, I needed a plan for justice. And then Natalie met her tough guy. His name is Carl. He and I are nothing alike. Carl rides a Harley. Of course he does. Natalie never let me get a motorcycle. She told me it was too dangerous and that it didn't match my personality. I told her I had a hog before we met, but she refused to believe me. She just chuckled at the possibility that I had done something manly. Carl works in construction, whereas I work at a desk designing software. He plays in a rock band in his spare time, whereas I play Magic the Gathering. He does MMA and lifts weights, whereas I watch WWE and lift beers. Surprisingly, when he described himself to Natalie, we sound pretty similar. He was about my height, about my weight, and had similar features. Eventually, he sent her pics, and he didn't look so different. There was nothing super special about him that I could see. In his writing, he came across as macho and somewhat arrogant. He was the kind of smug jerk I've always hated, not the type of guy I would have ever expected Natalie to find attractive. I guess his cockiness struck a nerve with her. She seemed to get turned on by it. Ironically, it wasn't all the macho nonsense that seemed to seal the deal with her. It was when Carl showed his sensitive side by reciting Shakespeare to her, something I used to do. Not only that, but his chat nickname is Caviar is a Garnish, which is a line from You've Got Mail, which has always been our movie. I couldn't win at being a tough guy, and now he was beating me at being sensitive too. I felt completely betrayed, but I would not go down without a fight. I wasn't sure how to proceed. Should I confront Natalie and reveal what I knew? I tried to imagine how that would turn out. Knowing my wife, I don't think it would play out well. First, she would be shocked and embarrassed by being caught. That would quickly turn to outrage at having her privacy violated. In the end, she would resent me, and I could see her continuing to see Carl just to spite me, just doing it more carefully. Instead, I decided on a subtler approach, a plan for the ultimate revenge. That evening, I was home when Natalie walked in the door from work. As she came in from the garage, she called out, "Mark, are you all right?" Natalie asked. I stepped into the kitchen, smiling warmly. "I'm fine, honey. I just came home a little early as a surprise. I know I've been so busy lately that I've neglected you. I want to make it up to you." She dropped her keys and purse on the table and smiled. "That's sweet, Mark, but you don't have to do anything. I understand you are a busy person." She was clutching her cell phone, so I stepped up and took it out of her hands. "I have something planned for tonight and you won't need this," I said as I put it in her purse and zipped it shut. "I made reservations for us at La Taverna, and the Uber is on its way here now. It'll be here in 5 minutes." "5 minutes?" Natalie asked. "I just got home. Can't I have some time to rest?" "Nope, not right now," I told her. "I should change," she argued. "You look lovely," I countered. "Really, Mark," Natalie said more strongly. "It's a Wednesday. Why don't we go out on Friday instead? I have things I wanted to do tonight." "Yeah, like Skype with Carl," I thought. "Do them tomorrow," I insisted. "Come on, we need to go out front." I took her hand and pulled her through the house and out the front door, making our way down to the curb just as the Uber Black luxury SUV pulled to a stop. I opened the door for her, then walked around and got in next to her. We rode in silence. Natalie seemed fidgety. "I wish you had let me bring my phone," she said. "Your boyfriend will have to get by without you. Tonight you belong to me," I said with a wink. Natalie had a guilty look on her face. "I don't have a boyfriend," she replied quickly. "Even better," I said with a slight laugh. When we arrived, the hostess led us to a private table in the back. I pulled out Natalie's chair for her, like a proper gentleman. Natalie smiled but appeared nervous as she sat down. I ordered a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc, and Natalie seemed surprised. "A bottle? On a work night?" she asked, head tilted to the side, staring at me. "Are you sure you're okay?" I assured her I was and made small talk, asking her about her day and being as attentive as possible. She was hesitant at first, uncomfortable, and not interested in opening up. As I persisted in listening, however, Natalie began to relax and discuss her day. It made me realize how out of practice we had become at sharing the simple parts of our days. When the wine came, the server poured our glasses. I raised mine and spoke softly. "When I saw you, I fell in love, and you smiled because you knew." Natalie stared at me, unsure whether to smile or to run in panic. I could see the pulse throbbing in her neck. I had quoted Shakespeare to her. Did she suspect that I knew about her online lover? She chose to smile. "I love you too, Mark," she replied, taking a sip of her wine. "You say you love rain, but you open an umbrella," I said, quoting more of the bard. "You say you love the sun, but you find a shadow spot. You say you love the wind, but you close your windows. This is why I am afraid when you say you love me too." I looked hard into her eyes, trying to make her realize I knew. I could see her gasp slightly in response to my words, and her brow furrowed slightly. "That's an odd thing to say," she said, setting down her glass of wine. "Do you doubt that I love you?" I forced on a smile. "No, Natalie. I know you love me. Though at times I feel like we live more like roommates than lovers. I sometimes feel I'm losing you, and that would destroy me. I want us to remember why we fell in love, and all the wonderful years we've had together. I want us to be like we were when we were young." "You're not losing me, Mark," Natalie said, trying to sound sincere. I know I've been distracted lately, but I've just been trying to deal with getting old. In case you haven't noticed, we don't act like we're young anymore because we aren't young." "Yes, I see that more and more every day," I admitted. "Like when I look in the shower and see large clumps of my hair going down the drain. Or when I look in the mirror and see my breasts sinking lower and lower," Natalie responded with a grin. "It sucks. I don't want to be old. I want to be young and pretty and wanted." "You have no idea how beautiful you are to me and how much I want you," I said, taking her hand. "You have to. You're my husband," she retorted. "It's your job. It's nice sometimes when other men still look at me like they want me. It's different. It makes me feel better about being me." "They can look all they want," I told her, "so long as they don't touch. If you ever were to let another man—" "Is that what all this is about?" she asked defensively, cutting me off mid-sentence. "What?" I asked, looking up to meet her gaze. "Is that what you think? That I'm cheating on you?" Natalie asked, holding her breath. "No, I don't think you are," I said quickly, as Natalie slowly exhaled. "Yet—" I let the word hang in the air for a moment. "I think you're not happy with our relationship, and you're possibly wondering what it would be like to have an affair." She didn't speak. "I think you miss the excitement of being pursued and the unexpectedness and newness of a beginning romance. I think part of wanting to feel young again is wanting to feel what it was like before routine took over back when we were lovers first and family second. I think a part of you wants to be able to be daring, wild, and free without concern for the repercussions." She tried to respond. I could see tears forming in her eyes, and her bottom lip quivered a bit. I went on before she could get any words out. "But there are repercussions," I told her. "If you had an affair, it may be exciting and fun and new at first, a hot flame that burns quickly instead of the slow embers of a 20-year marriage. But that fire burns too hot and would consume everything in its path. It would destroy us, our relationship, our marriage. I want to have some of my youth back, just like you, but I also want to grow old together, with you by my side. If you have an affair, that would be stolen from me. I would not sit by, waiting for you to get it out of your system and come back to me when you're done. I would leave you immediately and burn down everything we've ever had, leaving nothing but ashes and ruin." A single tear ran down from her eye and dripped onto the white tablecloth. "I want to grow old with you too," she managed to say finally. "Great," I said a bit too happily. "So then let me propose a toast. To the first day of the rest of our lives. I promise to try to be everything you want in a man, a lover, and a husband going forward. I don't want to lose you, and I don't want you to have an affair." "I'll drink to that," Natalie replied and took a big sip, then wiped the tears from her eyes. "What are you going to have?" she asked, putting the conversation behind us. "I'm suddenly starving." We had a great meal and finished off the bottle of wine. Natalie had 3 glasses, which is 1 glass past her standard weeknight limit. I could tell she was tipsy, but not drunk. I was about to order tiramisu, but Natalie had a better idea. "Get it to go," she instructed me. "Then let's go home and have some fun." I immediately signaled the server and asked for it in a doggy bag, handing her my credit card. "And can you take care of the check? We're in a hurry." In the Uber on the way home, Natalie pulled me to her and began kissing me passionately. I felt a mixture of emotions welling up inside me, not the least of which was disgust. I was playing a part, and I would see it through to the end. Phase 1 of my plan was complete: build her trust and make her think I was oblivious. Phase 2 began the next day. I left work early but didn't tell Natalie. My first stop was at the Indian motorcycle dealer in McKinney. An hour and $38,000 later, I was the proud owner of an Indian Roadmaster Elite. It was a hot motorcycle with a big passenger seat in the back. My second stop was to the Krav Maga center close to my house. I wasn't sure what Krav Maga was, but it sounded tough. I signed up, and they ran me through a 30-minute introductory class. It turned out it was some kind of martial arts training. Perfect. That could come in handy. Finally, my last stop was at Natalie's office. It was getting close to quitting time, so I parked the bike in an empty spot near her car and waited for her to come out. It didn't take long. After about 15 minutes, I saw her exit the building and walk toward her car. I cranked up the motorcycle and intercepted her, nearly running into her. Natalie jumped back, surprised, and stared at me as if I'd lost my mind. "Mark, what the hell are you doing? Why are you here and why are you on a motorcycle?" "Hi, honey," I said with a grin. "Like my new bike?" "Your new bike?" she asked, stressing the word your. "Yep," I said. "Just picked her up today." "Have you lost your mind?" Natalie asked, apparently angry. "You bought a motorcycle?" "Yeah, hop on," I said. "You can ride passenger." "What did you call me?" she asked, growing angrier. "No, that's what it's called when you ride in the back seat," I explained. "You know, you're my passenger. Hop on." "I am not riding on that thing," Natalie declared. "Where's your car?" "It's at the dealership," I said. "You'll have to take me later to pick it up." "Take it back," Natalie said. "Then I don't have to." "Take it back?" I asked incredulously. "Yes," she snapped. "How much did it cost?" I mumbled in response. "What?" Natalie snapped. "What did you say?" $38,000, I repeated more clearly. "Dollars?" Natalie asked in shock. "Yeah," I said. "Take it back," she shouted. "How dare you spend $40,000 on something without talking to me about it first?" "I can't just take it back," I responded. "Take it back or don't come home," Natalie snapped. "I can't believe you did something so irresponsible." She continued to berate me as she got in her car and slammed the door. I stood there, staring as she drove away, playing the role of a man defeated. I couldn't believe her attitude. She liked hearing about Carl's motorcycle. She talked about how cool it was and how much she wanted to ride on it with him. When I get one, she acts like it's the end of modern civilization. And on top of that, Natalie had just done something she had never done before in all the years I've known her. She had given me an ultimatum. "Take it back, or don't come home," she had said. Well, all right. If that's what Natalie wanted me to do, then I would do it. I climbed back on the Indian and cranked her up, then headed to a nearby motel and checked in. I didn't have a bag or any clothes. I just didn't want to go home. I'd be damned if I was going to do what she demanded. I ran to Burger King and grabbed a Whopper and fries, then went to my room to prepare. About an hour and a half passed in silence. Then my phone rang. "Yes?" I asked as I answered it. "Where are you?" Natalie asked. "Doing what you said," I responded. "You told me to take the motorcycle back or not to come home, so I'm not coming home." "You're what?" she asked, sounding surprised by my behavior and my attitude. "I'm not coming home," I repeated slowly, over-articulating each word as if I were speaking to an imbecile. "Because of a stupid motorcycle?" she asked, her voice an octave higher than usual. "No, because of you," I replied and disconnected. The phone rang again, and I answered it angrily. "What? Are you serious?" Natalie asked me, a tinge of fear in her voice. "You aren't coming home?" "I believe that was the ultimatum you gave me," I said. "I don't handle ultimatums very well. When you decide having me at home is more important than me having a motorcycle, call me. Until then, don't bother." I disconnected my phone and turned it off. I was determined to give Natalie a good and healthy dose of her own medicine. Let's see how she feels in a couple of days. I spent the next few minutes setting up my laptop and accessing my surveillance software. It didn't take me long to find Natalie already chatting away with Carl. She was already complaining about me and seeking comfort from her lover. Now was the time for the crucial part of my plan. I picked up the burner phone that I'd acquired a couple of days back and dialed a number. Carl answered. "Hello," he said. His voice was kind of high-pitched and nasal. He didn't sound much like a tough guy. "Is this Arnold Peebles?" I asked, trying to sound as authoritarian as possible. "Who's asking?" he answered. "My name is Dash Riprock," I lied. "I'm a private investigator, Mr. Peebles. Is Mrs. Gertrude Peebles your wife?" What? What do you want?" he asked. I could tell he was already nervous. "I'll assume that's a yes," I replied. "Your wife is the daughter of Anthony Scalisi, president of Flexible Plastics, where you work. Isn't that right, Mr. Peebles?" "Why are you calling me?" he asked, the fear sinking in. "I haven't done anything wrong." "So, how would your wife and her father feel if they knew about your affairs, Mr. Peebles?" "Affairs? I'm not having affairs. You've got this all wrong." He was trying to shout while speaking in a whisper. He didn't want someone to overhear our conversation. "So, you don't use the handle caviar as a garnish on websites focused on cheating with married women?" Silence. "Mr. Peebles," I said menacingly, "we know everything. No need to deny it." "I swear I only did it once," he replied. I was growing increasingly confused. It seemed Carl had already been with Natalie. "But it's over, I swear it. I haven't spoken to her in months," he said. I was growing increasingly confused. The jerk was in a chat with Natalie when I called him. "Mr. Peebles, my client is a very powerful and angry man," I explained. "He's not looking just to divorce his cheating wife. He's looking to destroy the man with whom she is cheating." "I swear I haven't spoken to Denise since the last time we hooked up in May. You have to believe me. She got mad that I came so fast and called me a loser and never wanted to see me again." I nearly let out a sigh of relief. "I'm not calling you about Denise, you idiot," I shouted. "Oh, this is about Angie? No. Margaret? No. Lakeisha?" How many women was this guy catfishing? "Natalie?" "Bingo," I said. "Wait. Natalie's husband is a wimp," Carl said. "She told me." "You got it all wrong, Arnold," I said with a snarl. "Her husband is a made man. He has connections with your father-in-law that go back to Sicily, if you get my meaning." "Wait." "What?" he asked. "Are you saying my wife's dad is in the mafia?" Arnold, I said, doing my best acting job. "Don't let Don Scalisi hear you use such a word." "Of course." "I'm sorry," he stammered. "So my client knows that so far you have not touched his wife," I began. "For this, you will be allowed to keep your body intact." "But my client is very unhappy with you, Arnold," I went on. "He is not happy that you would try to seduce the mother of his children. For this, there must be some atonement." "No. Please. I didn't know she was his wife. I didn't mean any disrespect." Arnold, I said softly. "If it were up to me, I would be happy to relay your deepest regrets to my client, but he knows that you are still talking to his wife. Be happy, Arnold. The last man who tried to seduce his wife is now missing." "Please, what can I do?" he pleaded. "My client would need certain assurances that you are sincere," I explained. "First, you are to contact his wife and send her a picture of the real you. You will tell her the truth and then never, ever have contact with her again. Do this, and we will not send Don Scalisi the information about you and these other women. If you fail to do it, then we will be forced to take action. You would not like that, would you, Arnold?" No, I wouldn't. I'll do it. I don't like that woman anyway," he said. "You have 1 hour, Arnold," I said. "If we do not see your true confession in that time, you will not like the result. Understand?" "I understand." "And one more thing, Arnold," I said. "Do not tell his wife anything about our little conversation. This is between you and me. If you do, then you will have a problem with me, and I will give you a world of pain. 1 hour. Make it happen." I hung up the phone and waited, watching Natalie's Skype window. 10 minutes later, Carl spilled his guts and dumped my wife. I grinned and went out for a nice steak dinner. I took my time and enjoyed every bite before returning to my room. Phase 2 is complete. Destroy her fantasy. For Phase 3, I needed more evidence. I had already set up cameras in our home that captured every room. I watched Natalie for the next few days. She was distraught, crying most evenings, and calling my phone constantly. I let her stew. When I finally returned home 5 days later, she was a mess. Mascara-stained cheeks, unwashed hair, wearing the same pajamas for what looked like days. "Mark," she cried, running to me. "Thank God you're home. I've been so worried." I looked at her coldly. I needed time to think. "About what?" she asked, her voice trembling. "About us. About our future." I set down my bag. "I think we should talk." We sat at the kitchen table. I told her I wanted to work through things, that I was willing to try if she was. She nodded eagerly, promising everything would be different. I laid out some rules. More time together, more communication, more honesty. "I can do all that," she said, relief washing over her face. I smiled. "Good. I think we can make this work." Over the next 2 weeks, I played the perfect husband. Attentive, loving, spontaneous. I took her on dates, bought her flowers, even suggested weekend trips. All while gathering evidence from her previous conversations with Carl and others. There had been others, I discovered. I downloaded everything, stored it securely, and prepared the final phase. On our 20th anniversary, exactly 3 weeks after my return home, I took Natalie to La Taverna again. We had a beautiful dinner. I was attentive and loving. She seemed happy and relaxed, believing we had saved our marriage. When we returned home, I asked her to wait in the living room. I had a surprise. I returned with a manila envelope and handed it to her. "What's this?" she asked, smiling. "An anniversary gift?" "Open it," I said quietly. Inside were divorce papers, printed copies of all her conversations with Carl and the others, and photos from the private investigator I'd hired who caught her meeting another man during the week I was gone. Her face drained of color. "Mark, I can explain." "No need," I cut her off. "Everything is already settled. The house is in my name. Your personal belongings are packed in the spare room. You have until tomorrow to leave." But you said we were working on things," she cried. "And you said you loved me," I replied coldly. "I guess we both lied." She began sobbing. "Please, Mark, don't do this. I love you." "Should have thought of that before you started looking elsewhere." I headed upstairs. "Oh, and Carl's wife received all your conversations, too. Seems your tough guy isn't so tough after all when his marriage is on the line." I slept in the guest room that night. When I woke up the next morning, Natalie was gone along with her packed belongings. On the kitchen table was her wedding ring. 2 months later, I sold the house and moved to Colorado. I started a new software company, bought a cabin in the mountains, and kept the motorcycle. Every weekend, I ride through mountain passes, feeling the freedom I never had in my marriage. Sometimes I think about Natalie. I heard through mutual friends that she's struggling, living in a small apartment, working a job she hates. Carl's marriage ended too, and he lost his job at his father-in-law's company. As for me, I'm dating a motorcycle enthusiast who thinks I'm naturally tough. She didn't need to read about it in a chat room to figure it out. I've learned that revenge isn't about getting even. It's about taking back control of your life. And on quiet nights when I'm sitting on my deck staring at the stars, I finally feel like the tough guy I always was, just not in the way Natalie would have understood. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.